When you think of mechanical keyboards, you'll probably think of the various gaming keyboards that are on the market with RGB lighting, media keys, premium build materials, and the big brand names. And it's no secret that mechanical keyboards have been adopted predominantly by gamers for their tactile feedback and the strange sense of joy that you get from typing on one. What about mechanical switches in non-gaming keyboards? If you've ever worked in a corporate office environment, you'll have seen the generic included keyboards that come with every workstation. They're low profile, and there's nothing special to say about them other than they get the job done. But what if you could mix the inconspicuous look of a full office keyboard with the premium tactile feeling of a keyboard rocking mechanical switches? Enter the Logitech MX Mechanical Keyboard, a keyboard that blends the squeaky clean corporate world aesthetic with the premium typing experience at your fingertips. Before we continue, a big shout out to Logitech for sending over the unit for this review. Starting with the most important thing to discuss when you're talking about a mechanical keyboard, the switches. There are three options for switches in the Logitech MX Mechanical Keyboard. The clicky, which is close to the Cherry MX Blue switches, providing a distinctive click when a key is pressed, which can be felt through the tactile response given to your fingertips. The linear, which is similar to the Cherry MX Red switches, gives the user a smooth typing experience with each keystroke. Each key glides from its home position to the actuation point. And finally, we have the Tactile Quiet, the equivalent of the Cherry MX Brown switches. The Tactile Quiet mixes the tactile response from the clicky option with quieter switches. So if you're not a fan of the overly pronounced clicking sound but still want to feel every keystroke, then this option might be for you. The MX Mechanical Keyboard comes in two versions of form factor. You have the full-size version, simply dubbed the MX Mechanical, with the traditional keyboard layout including the 10-key numpad. And then you have the MX Mechanical Mini, which is described as the minimalist option without the 10-key numpad. For this review, I requested the MX Mechanical with the tactile silent switches because while I relish the idea of being a distracting jerk with obnoxious sounds, it's not a good idea to annoy your boss. Let's talk about the most important aspect of any keyboard, the typing. In short, the MX Mechanical is an absolute delight to type on, with every keystroke feeling smooth like butter as the key glides to the actuation point. The chiclet style keycaps make travel between each key easy, although it does feel a little bit like the keys are too big sometimes. Each keycap stands at approximately 1 centimeter in height, featuring a low profile angled edge around each keycap. The edges around the keycap are low enough to help you distinguish where each key begins and ends without hampering your keystrokes. I've had the review unit for a little while now, and I've not seen any keystroke duplication or ghosting, and my own errors aside, the accuracy of the MX Mechanical is excellent. Truly, it has been a delight to type on as I face roll my way through coding in Visual Studio, writing documentation, or responding to people on Teams. The MX Mechanical features a set of functional keys that can be remapped as desired. These keys share the same row as the F keys, with a key press combination to toggle between F keys and the additional functions. The out-of-the-box functionality of these keys allows you to open certain applications like the emoji picker or the calculator. There's also media keys too, which is handy. One of the keys that I really liked the inclusion of was the lock computer key, which if you work in an ISO 27001 compliant environment, locking your PC is a must when you leave it. But for some, remembering that pesky combination of Windows key and L is sometimes a little bit too hard, so having a singular key to lock the PC will make it much easier to get everyone on board with being a secure workplace. The MX Mechanical Keyboard can be connected wirelessly or through the included USB-C cable to your computer. There are two modes in which the keyboard can connect wirelessly, one being through normal Bluetooth and the other being through the included Logibolt USB dongle. The wireless connectivity ties into another feature that is quite handy, which is the ability to connect up to 3 separate PCs using the same MX Mechanical keyboard. However, unless you've got 3 Logibolts, you're stuck with connecting via Bluetooth for the additional machines. That being said though, there doesn't seem to be any noticeable latency or response delay when using it wirelessly, which is a nice surprise. One of the final features that I want to talk about is the battery life. The Logitech MX Mechanical boasts a 14-day battery when using the keyboard with backlighting enabled and a full year without backlighting on a single charge. Obviously, testing this over the span of a year is impossible to do whilst maintaining my deadline for this review. However, over the last little bit since I've had it, I've only had to charge it a couple of times. When the keyboard is not in use or hasn't been touched in a while, it will put itself to sleep to save the battery. When you want to use it again, you need only touch it ever so slightly and it will wake up and be ready for you to use. I found the responsiveness between sleep and wake modes to be fantastic, as it almost felt like it woke up when my hand was in close proximity to the unit without actually touching it. As far as the design and build quality goes, the MX Mechanical looks stylish and fits the part of any professional environment. The backlit keys serve their purpose to show you which key you are pressing in a low light environment, although as a touch typer of 20 years, I don't really find myself needing to rely on this. The build of the MX Mechanical keyboard features an aluminum frame, plastic keys with a smooth finish, and enough weight to keep it held down in place. The asking price of the MX Mechanical keyboard averages around $250 Australian dollars, which is pretty steep for just an office keyboard. But the MX Mechanical isn't just a typical office keyboard. It's a premium, feature-rich peripheral that fits the part of being in a professional environment, perfect for those who want the tactile feedback of a gaming keyboard without the over-the-top bells and whistles. If you're in the market for a new keyboard at the office, the Logitech MX Mechanical gets a solid recommendation from me. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy this review, please consider subscribing to the channel. And I also stream 3 times a week over on Twitch, which my link is in the description.